I feel a little disingenuous doing this particular episode because I am a coffee drinker. I am a coffee drinker since I'm about 9 years old. So I am trying to be a little bit more prudent about what I drink and how much coffee I drink. But as an emergency department nurse, I attest to drinking pots and pots of black coffee forever. And, you know, it's time to find a better way. So I am slowly trying to adjust. The old excuse that I used to use about I can't give up coffee because I can't tolerate the coffee withdrawal headache is true, all right, but I have come to find that tea has a good amount of caffeine in it as well. So the headache that you think you might get from coffee withdrawals, by substituting tea more often than not, is probably not true. Okay, I'm not going to say you're not going to get a coffee withdrawal headache, but it's not going to be to the degree that if you just went cold turkey and took caffeine out of your diet altogether. So let's talk about this. So tea is the second most consumed beverage on the planet next to water. Who knew? I did not know that. All tea comes from a specific tea plant called the Camellias sinensis plant. And those are the plants that actually grow the teas. And the different types of teas that are available really do come from that particular plant, and how it's processed and how it's oxidated and how it's, you know, in order to produce the different types of teas that we know. And I'm only going to go over some of the more major teas because, quite honestly, this is not my strength yet. I am learning as we go along. So, the benefits of drinking tea. If you read the literature, there are now benefits out there talk about the benefits of drinking coffee. I tend to gravitate to those pieces of literature, as you can imagine, but the benefits of drinking tea have been well known to many of us for a while. Now, some of it could be just marketing hype, and some of it could actually be good research. There is suggestions out there that tea drinking will benefit you in reducing your risk for cancer. It will benefit you in reducing your risk for cardiovascular disease, including stroke. It will benefit you in diet control and management of type 2 diabetes. And it will benefit you in helping to maintain memory and even maybe downplaying a little bit of the symptoms of early dementia. It's going to depend on what research you're reading. I honestly don't know what's true and what's not, but I do know that people feel good drinking tea, and honestly, if it's the second most ingested drink on the planet, well, and only secondary to water, then I think it deserves a good second look from my point of view. All right. The benefits of tea seem to come from the antioxidants, and some of the teas are more rich in antioxidants than others, and I'll get to that in just a minute. So let's talk about good old-fashioned black tea. Now, black tea is the most dominant tea on the planet. 75% of people drinking tea are drinking black tea. So you can have, and I'm promoting no particular brand of tea, I'm just promoting black tea, okay? So there are different types of brands out there that are breakfast black teas. Earl Grey seems to be a particular brand of black tea that's very popular. Irish breakfast tea is also a black tea that is very popular. It is the strongest of the teas, and it tends to have an astringent taste to it. If you brew it correctly, it can be very strong, and if you're drinking it plain, it can give you a dry mouth, almost like mouthwash. But it doesn't taste like that. It actually has a nice flavor to it, but it can have, because of the tannins in the tea, it gives you a very drying or astringent taste, which means that if you are someone who's just getting new to tea and you like to drink your tea with milk and sugar, black teas are the teas for you, because it's strong enough and robust enough to have full flavor despite sugar and despite having milk and or cream added to it. Your green teas are the teas that are under black tea as far as popularity is concerned. It's made from the same tea leaf. Now, again, you can have all different types of green teas and different brands. Some green teas are mixed with things like green tea and ginger, green tea and lemon. Green tea has the highest antioxidant value. Therefore, it's the one that's usually in the literature as having the most health benefits when you drink it. The thing that you have to understand, though, is that if you green tea has vitamin K in it, so that if you are on Coumadin or warfarin, you want to drink green tea very carefully and in small amounts, because it could be the antidote and you would have no benefit from that particular medication. There are different varieties of green tea. The one that I recommend and the one that I enjoy the most is actually from Japan, and it is matcha green tea. Now, it's organic. This particular brand is organically brewed, and you do need to use a tea holder, a tea leaf holder, or you would use a little coffee pot that would have a tea leaf holder in it, and that would allow you to steep the tea. This is like antioxidants on steroids. This is extremely popular in the UK, and it goes along with the homeopathic medicine approach that the UK enjoys. People actually put matcha tea in food, so they will add it to different types of breads, and they'll add it to different types of sauces and soups. Again, for the antioxidant value, it has a very mild taste to it. I drink it plain, and I do drink it with a little milk, although for tea drinkers that might prove to be heresy. Okay, the last tea, and I don't have one to show you, is white tea. Now, as you might imagine, if we're going from black to green to white tea is the least of the processed tea leaves. So these are very young buds of tea that are then turned into and manufactured as tea leaves in order to brew tea. So these are early, the babies of the tea leaves kind of thing. It has a very gentle taste, and if I was going to drink tea plain with maybe just a little bit of lemon, it would be white tea, and maybe even not even with the lemon, because the white tea has a very delicate flavor to it. It's quite enjoyable, and it does have a certain amount of caffeine in it, not as much as green tea and black tea, but there is just something very lovely about a nice white tea in the afternoon. You can drink it cold, as you know, most teas can be drinking warm or cold, but it's got a very lovely flavor to it. Now, just a couple of things about herbal tea, okay? Herbal tea is not tea, okay? And if the herbal tea package, and I have several herbal teas as you see here, if the herbal tea package says that it has antioxidants in it, that's because the herbal tea contains some actual Camellia sinensis tea leaves. And an herb will not give you the antioxidants that an actual tea leaf will. So it's a blend of both. And no judgment on any of that, but you just need to know herbal teas are technically not teas. However, they do have therapeutic values of themselves. So I like to use chamomile if my stomach is upset. Chamomile is something I recommend to give weak chamomile tea to children if they're having a lot of, GI upset or, any colicky. It's wonderful for this. Ginger is also a very good herb to use for your stomach, and I have taken it when I've had an upper respiratory infection and I'm getting over that. This one happens to be lemon ginger that I've taken for that. It's very comforting, really makes you feel good, and I found it quite lovely to take. There are also teas that say that promote sleep or rest, and most of them will have some kind of a chamomile piece to it that will help do that. But you really want to make sure that you're getting the most out of the tea and not just drinking tea to say you're drinking tea. You want to brew it properly. So I know that many of us use our microwaves to boil water and then make tea. If you're really talking to a tea drinker, they're going to break out into a cold sweat when you tell them that this is the only way to make tea. Okay, you gotta have a good teapot and boil the water. And then you really want tea to steep. So if you don't have the time to use a teapot, then you want to have some time that you're either putting the tea bag, or as I said, if you're using loose teas, into the cup and let it steep so that you're getting the full flavor and the benefit and the health benefits of the tea as well. I like to boil the water, put either tea bags or loose tea into my pot, fill this up, let it sit at least a minute or two, and then enjoy it. I'm not sure I'm ever going to give up coffee. I probably really doubt that I ever will, but I think I'm going to do something a little bit healthier for myself and maybe have a foot in each world, and maybe have some benefit because I've decided to explore my options. Take care.